reaction to criticism. Tribune editorial used the term irascible. How much of this do you think might have to do with the fact that you're a woman, and specifically a black woman?
About 99% of it.
Imagine being a black elected official, and obviously you're going to receive tons of criticism because that is what politicians receive and sign up for. But imagine living in the era of social justice, and there's a racist under every single rock, behind every single corner. There's a racist and a white supremacist everywhere that you look. So you got to watch your back being a black person and being a brown person. Imagine living in this timeline here in 2021 where you are a black elected official that is challenging the status quo, still peddling the victim card, claiming that the reason why you receive criticism as a black United States politician is because you are black. Welcome to the multiverse. Welcome to the alternate reality. That is exactly where we are right now. The woke-tard timeline you find yourself in is now. We're also going to get into Facebook has launched some kind of extremist watch program, algorithm. Hundreds, thousands of people woke up today to receiving messages alerting them from the tech overlords, Big Brother, warning people on Facebook that they could potentially be experiencing extremist content, and how do they feel about that? And they could report these scary extremists that are on social media. Ooh, who the hell gets to define that? The communists. So we're going to get into these things tonight, guys. Welcome to Drew Hernandez Live. My name is Drew Hernandez, hopefully one of your favorite podcast hosts here on YouTube. If you guys can do me a huge favor and share this video far and wide wherever a link could be posted, and also make sure to destroy that like button, hit the bell notification, and toggle on the all selection. Right now, we are obviously extremely shadow banned, deboosted on this channel, on this show. So if you guys would like to support us, we are supported 100% by the people, we the people, that is you the people, by the viewers, by the listeners, you guys, every single one of you guys tuning in. So if you guys would like to support us during these times of demonetization and shadow banning where it's hard for us to keep up, if you want to support alternative media, okay, alternative media, independent media, you can go check out my merch store. The link is in the description below at drhlive.com. Go cop a t-shirt for yourself, or you can give a one-time donation on my website. We do super chats at the end of every single show. So if you love something I say and you want to support this show that way, drop a super chat now in the middle of the show or at the end of the show. That is how you can support me as an independent content alternative media creator. Thank you guys very much. And like I said, that is how you guys can support me and support this show. So all that crap out of the way, listen, we're independent here. This show is not supported by anybody else on planet Earth other than you guys. So thank you guys so much for all of the continued support. We truly appreciate it. So thank you guys. Let's get into this. This is the way. Here we go. Okay. People, if you're not concerned about this, you should. And I'm going to give you guys some reasons as to why you should be concerned. I mean, tech censorship has gotten out of control. This was one of my main critiques against President Trump while he was president over the course of the 4 years between 2016 and 2020. My biggest critique against President Trump was I don't believe that he took an aggressive stance or really considered big tech censorship and just how powerful these people really are. I think it wasn't until he found out that these people had the nerve to deplatform him as a sitting United States president did he finally realize just how important this issue really is. These people control the media narrative. These people control the flow of media and information that people find on their social media apps. There's millions of Americans that find their news via Twitter, via Facebook, Instagram, you name it. People are using social media apps. They're not reading newspapers. They're definitely not watching cable news TV anymore, left and right. People are turning to alternative, independent media creators, such as myself, for information. But because of that, big tech is trying to control and monopolize not just the media, but minds, across the entire world, just not in the United States of America. These people are trying to control the narrative, the mainstream narrative, and keep it intact inside of the minds of millions of people because they know they have that power, and human beings continue to give that power to them. And the problem and the issue is it is now, and it has been, affecting not only media figures, but politicians across the world. And I think now Donald Trump understands this. This is why you're starting to see some legislation come out of Florida through Ron DeSantis, by the way, which is pretty good stuff, but it's still a little weak because it's only predominantly seeming to be for some elected officials. But we're hoping that it becomes more for people that find themselves that are experiencing this, which some social media influencers are getting involved with lawsuits because of what is happening in Florida. But we need some more legislation on this. We need some more accountability on this because these people have way too much power. They not only control the media influx and the media flow and what the narrative is on social media and the internet. They've monopolized this, but it's also information and what people are intaking. You see this on Google. Anytime something serious happens and you want to go Google it and you want to find out about it and you go and try and search it to go and, educate yourself as quickly as possible, they are curating some of the results that they want you to see. When you use DuckDuckGo or you use some other sites that are searching for information as well, you find that there's a whole host of other sources of information out there that tell a different story. And it's pretty dangerous because these people are taking total tech control over the minds of millions of people. And they're also hurting a lot of people's pockets at the same time that are very talented creators that have aspiring dreams to become media figures independently. But they're crushing that as well because they demonetize people. They take them off of their platforms. They neuter their ability to be able to fund themselves and monetize because of their political views, predominantly conservative. But this is also happening to leftists as well on YouTube. And we're starting to even see that in some banks where conservatives that are deemed hateful or they have too much hate speech, they get booted off of platforms and even banks in the United States of America. And it's predominantly happening from left-leaning organizations that have these left-leaning views that get to define everything. You see, the problem with this, and I've always explained this to people that are on the left, is this is not a left or right issue. And the reason why I say that is you may think right now that just because you have the right politics, that you may never be censored like conservatives, Trump supporters, or anybody that is centrist or finding themselves on the right side of the political aisle. There's a bunch of woketards out there on the left that find themselves, they consider themselves immune because of the political climate. You can get away with anything that's politically extremist on the left, but if you're on the right, and they define something as, let's say, as simple as a Christian coming out and saying, I believe marriage is between a biological man and a biological woman. The radical left comes out and defines that as hate speech. So you can violate their terms and services by just simply saying that, and you're automatically deemed, you're designated an extremist on the platform, and you need to be silenced, deboosted, or in the worst cases, completely censored and deplatformed. Now, the point I'm trying to make is leftists see this and say, well, I'm on the right side of history. So I'm immune, I'm invincible, and I will get a pass because I have the right politics, because I seem to be agreeing with these people in power that have their hands on these levers to decide who can say what they want on these platforms, and they decide and define who's extremist and who's not. For a time, that may work for you, but that's not going to last forever. Because where this goes is it turns into, it's not so much if you have the right politics. It's about control. It's about authority. It's about narrative. So someday, for all the lefty woketards out there, someday you might find yourself, now I'm going to be a bit prophetic here. Someday, if and when this happens, you're going to find yourself challenging the mainstream narrative. You will find yourself saying something that differs from what Big Brother and the tech overlords do not want people hearing. So the day will come where people on the left will start to say things on social media that have been designated hate speech or off limits on their platforms. Things that you believe in. On the left, as a Democrat, as a leftist, things that you believe in will someday become off limits on these platforms. Because what this is about is the totality of authoritarian control through the minds of millions of people. Right now, they're appealing and they're catering to a political side. But that day will come where things that you consider liberal on the left, now I'm talking to the lefties right now, the day will come where things that you consider liberal on the left, social justice issues that you believe should be addressed through freedom of speech, that day will come where the tech overlords will begin to designate you off limits. Because it's not about what you believe in. It's not about if you have the same politics as these people with their hands on the levers. That's a part of it right now. But when an authoritarian regime comes in, it becomes about what they want people to believe and to hear. Historically, when technology has advanced, the Nazis in the 1930s revolutionized, pioneered the use of in-home radios to communicate. They had custom-made radios. They distributed them federally. The Nazis, they themselves distributed custom radios so that every single Nazi and German can have a radio inside of their house to hear from the Nazi party on a daily basis. And obviously, if you've studied history, they were the masters of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels and all these people. They utilized this technology as tech overlords to communicate to the people on a daily basis all of their propaganda, all of their lies, all of their political rhetoric, everything that created an extreme society inside of Nazi Germany between the 1930s and the end of the 1945 era, the fall of the Nazi Third Reich in Germany. That was all controlled. It was all controlled information. It was all controlled optics, all the movies they would make, all the information, all the things flowing right now. It was all controlled, and the narrative was controlled so that the people would believe something on a mass scale. Fast forward to 2021. We have something that if the Nazis had in the 1930s would be a freaking beyond a dream. And it's this thing called the internet. And it's this thing called controlled, monopolized tech industry where they have monopolized certain apps. So they have monopolized the influx of information through Google and tech apps, social media. That is what has taken place. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, historically speaking, the advent of new technology seems to be connected to some kind of authoritarianism. We've seen this happen as a pattern. Where does it go now in the advent of the internet? Where does it go now in the era of big tech overlords? Where does it go now with authoritarian regimes and rule that have their hands on these levers of innovative technology that has the potential to control information? That's the connection I'm making. The Nazis did it with radio, controlled information on a mass scale in their own country. Where does this go now? In 2021, you're starting to see this. There's a political side that is controlling the influx of information, that is controlling the flow of information through big tech, through Google, through search results, through algorithms, and it's controlling the minds of millions of people because they perceive something that is meant for them to perceive and to intake. Now, the problem we have with this is you may think right now that just because you have the right politics that you'll end up on the right side of history. The problem with that is that history tells us that that's not what this is about. This ends up becoming about an authoritarian rule and regime, and that is what we're seeing right now. So that day may come. It's about you disagreeing with what the establishment's narrative is at that moment in that time. And right now, it's conservatives, it's Christians, it's anyone that's right, anyone that's center that agrees with the establishment mainstream perceived narrative, which is right now a leftist agenda. But the day can come where that no longer becomes that narrative. And it becomes what they want you to perceive. It becomes what they want you to agree with. So it's not about left or right. It's about those who are in control over the minds of millions of people and what they want you to perceive and to believe. That's what this whole thing is about. And it blows my mind that millions of Americans, I think a couple days ago, I think it was Right Wing Watch. I know Tim Cass, Tim Pool, shout out to them. They've got their article system going up now. I think it was Right Wing Watch had their YouTube channel taken off of the platform because they were covering stuff that was designated off limits that is right wing. Now, their YouTube channel was reinstated, but that's just a testament of what's to come. That's just a testament of what's to come. Because listen, is it your free right, your freedom of speech, your First Amendment right of the free press, even if you find yourself on the left exposing what you consider to be your polarized political enemies? Is it your free right of the freedom of the press if you find yourself left-leaning and biased, if that's your thing, that's your shtick, to cover what's going on with the other side of the aisle? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, you have every right. You have every right in the United States of America, the United States Constitution. If that's your thing, you use your First Amendment right of the freedom of the press. If you identify as left and you want to cover what the other side is doing, you go right on ahead and do that. If that's what you want to do in the world of journalism, then you go do that. Okay, you have the First Amendment right to do so. What I want to warn people about right now is someone was doing that on YouTube and they got taken down because that was their niche. And because their niche had to do with something that the tech overlords declared as off limits, they couldn't do that and they got deplatformed. You see what I'm saying? So even though that may be your thing, you may lose everything. And obviously Right Wing Watch was reinstated. They put them back on, but you're going to continue to see this stuff. You continue to call for censorship. The problem is when you open up this can of worms and you become normalized to this, and you think that just because you feel like you're on the right side of history, you got the right politics and you'll somehow become immune. And it's like, yeah, that's just the other guys. Let them get censored. Let them get deboosted. That sword is double-sided, because that day will come when you will have the wrong thought. And it'll be about what they want you to believe and to be saying. Right now, us as conservatives, populists, there's Republicans, there's people on the center that are challenging the mainstream authoritative narrative, and they get silenced and deboosted. The day will come when the left will start to experience the same thing. Because it's not about left or right, like I said. It's about the mainstream authoritative narrative that they want out there. You challenge that, whether left or right, they silence you. That's the problem that leftists fail to see. And they're going to continue to see. And they glorify it and they celebrate it as if it's something good, and it is not good. Now, let's get this up. So this should alarm people. Let's get to our top story of the night. Facebook begins issuing disturbing warnings about extremism to users. Here's some of this. People are seeing some of these pictures pop up on their Facebook. By the Post Millennial reports this, that editor-at-large for Red State Kira Davis tweeted, has anyone had this message pop up on their Facebook? My friend, who is not an ideologue but hosts lots of competing chatter, got this message twice. He's very disturbed. Now, this is what she tweeted. Now, people are seeing this on their Facebooks, and Facebook is sending people warnings on content that they declare possibly extremist. And this is what it says. Are you concerned that someone you know is becoming an extremist? We care about preventing extremism on Facebook. Others in your situation have received confidential support. What the hell does that mean? Anybody? How can we help? How you can help? Hear stories and get advice from people who escaped violence, extremist groups. There appear to be two different messages that certain Facebook users are receiving. One message asks, are you concerned that someone you know is becoming an extremist? The other message comes to users by their names and states, you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Who gets to decide that? Going on to state that violent groups try to manipulate your anger and disappointment. You can take action now to protect yourselves and others. Here, Disclose TV put this screenshot up. Here's the actual photo. There it is. Carl, you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Violent groups try to manipulate your anger and disappointment. You can take action now to protect yourself and others. Get support from experts. See that? Get support from who the hell are the experts? Some purple-haired SJW on the other end of the screen? Are those the experts? Some freaking critical race theory, cultural Marxist? Millennial? Are they the experts all of a sudden? You know, a lot of boomers use Facebook. It's literally a bunch of millennials trying to control a bunch of boomers, lecturing them. You're experiencing extremism. Let us help you. Let us educate you on how you need to think about being on Facebook. That's an insult to old people on Facebook. I can assure you, these experts are not old boomers. That's not how Facebook rolls. No offense to the boomers. I'm just stating some truth. Both of these messages have a button users can click on to get support. The Twitter thread goes on to say whether these alerts are triggered by a bunch of algorithms or a trained complex neural network remains a mystery to the public. The same applies to the ranking of content in the personalized news feed. There is no external oversight or transparency for any of this. The experts Facebook sites make generalized claims, such as researchers have shown that peaceful movements are more successful than violent ones at bringing about social change, and violence is against the law. Oh, wow. Thank you, Facebook, for communicating some basic facts of humanity to us. Thank you. My goodness. How educated of you all. I'm gonna tell you the problem with this right now. Now, here's what they say. The new initiative appears to be the joint initiative of Facebook and a nonprofit called Life After Hate. Here's what it says on Facebook. Hate groups oversimplify problems by blaming them on one group of people. Like Black Lives Matter accusing white people for everything and all of their damn problems? Some groups claim the problem is the immigrants, while others claim it is the Jews, the black community, and or another group. Holy crap. I don't know about y'all, but all I ever see is a bunch of black people blaming white people for everything and their damn problems in this country. You see how this works? Do you know that immigration is linked to decreases in violent crime over the last 50 years? You gotta be kidding me. Conspiracy theories about Jewish people were created by Russian secret police in the early 20th century. They were then used by Nazi Germany and the Islamic Republic of Iran to justify violence toward Jews. Maybe someone should lecture Rashid Tlaib on that one. Ilhan Omar, Huh? Did you know that Jewish people account for only 0.2% of the global population and do not exercise any more power of control than any other group? Hateful statements like the ones above are false and often oversimplified. They are used by violent extremists to manipulate their followers. Learn more about how to prevent radicalization. We have partnered with Life After Hate, a nonprofit that provides support to anyone who wants to leave hate behind and solve problems in nonviolent ways. You can reach out to Life After Hate confidentially. So what is Life After Hate? Life After Hate states that they are committed to helping people leave the violent far right to connect with humanity and lead compassionate lives. Re-education. Virtual. They are a virtual re-education camp. The group was awarded $400,000 in 2017 by the Obama administration, though co-founder Christian Picciolini, a former skinhead, said that those funds were rescinded by the Trump administration. The Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security later funded the group with a $750,000 in September 2020 to disrupt domestic terrorism. Our vision, the right, is a world that allows people to change and contribute to a society without violence. Now, do Black Lives Matter and Antifa? They go on to say that it was these principles that guided us away from lives of hate and that drive us to help individuals exit hate groups today and to support those who have already left. Founded in 2011, they say that their primary goal is to interrupt violence committed in the name of ideological or religious beliefs. They define what this all means. And they said to do this through education. Now here's the subversion. They said to do, this is the cultural Marxism right here. They said to do this through education, interventions, academic research, and outreach. GuideStar, which tracks giving to nonprofits, states that the organization was founded by former leaders of radical neo-Nazis, skinhead, and other extremist groups in North America who today are solely committed to addressing violent far-right extremism through a lens informed by experiential knowledge, personal growth, and personal training. They get to define what far-right is, by the way. The group states that they held 265 public events to further their mission in 2017, though that number dropped to 100 in 2018 and just 70 in 2019. GuideStar does not have the data yet available for 2020. The number of families served in 2019 was 76, which was the most served of any of the years for which the data was made available. They served 124 clients in 2019. Here we go. This is some of the stuff they say. Violence is the only way to achieve change. Extremist groups may say violence is a legitimate and effective way to achieve change, but there is no evidence that it works. In fact, violence often makes things a lot worse and doesn't lead to the outcomes the group wants. Did you know that researchers have shown that peaceful movements are more successful than violent ones at bringing about social change? Now remember, they focus against far-right people. They don't address Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Go figure. Violence is against the law. Supporting a violent group can negatively impact you and your family. If you use violence, you may risk your freedoms, future job prospects, and relationships. Now they should put in little quotations, unless you're Black Lives Matter or Antifa. Did you know that many people who get involved with extremist groups see violence as a tipping point and use it as their reason for leaving? For example, Frankie was a white supremacist who decided to leave an extremist group once he saw the violence these groups use to hurt others, including children. Let's take this down. Okay, this is what I have to say about this. Okay, listen. This group, Facebook is using a third-party group to combat violent extremism on their app, but they're obviously biased in their approach, and they're focused on going after what they declare is far-right extremism, far-right religious extremism. What does that mean? It means whatever they want it to mean. See, this is the problem with this is nothing about Black Lives Matter, nothing about Antifa, because these people are the authoritarians in power, and they want people to perceive that there's only one side that gets away with anything, but there's actually a bad entity out there. And who do they declare that to be? Anyone that's far right, that they designate to be religiously extreme. The problem with this is you can use that logic and probably find some people out there that might genuinely be, okay? But the problem with this is they get to define what these terms mean. This is a shadow entity that big tech has collaborated with that has an effect on billions of people on the internet, on Facebook. They get to declare who is a violent right-wing extremist based upon their own definitions, based upon their own so-called findings, based upon whatever they claim that definition to be. Now we're experiencing serious authoritarian regimes right now because who gets to define these things? Listen, if you thought what happened on January 6th was insane, a manhunt on people that were at the Capitol, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's not the end of it. This is going to continue because now big tech is intentionally looking for people that they claim to be extremists. So now you're going to have a bunch of people getting reported on Facebook that they claim are violent extremists. What's the next step? Does the FBI come to your house because Facebook declared you a violent extremist? Do you see how this works? See how dangerous this is? Right now, it's against whoever they claim right wing. You see how biased it is? The regime right now is left. Because Black Lives Matter, listen, there is no one on the face of planet Earth that can convince me that Black Lives Matter and Antifa are peaceful. I am someone who has covered them undercover very extensively all 2020 going into 2021. These people are violent. They are politically violent. One of the birthmarks of being declared a terrorist group, according to the United States, is they must be willing to use violence to achieve political gain or purposes. That is exactly what Black Lives Matter does. That is exactly what Antifa does. There's a reason why Facebook will not address that. But they try to deflect, and they claim that it's white supremacy. They claim that it's white people. They claim that it's right-wingers. They claim that it's neo-Nazis. It's all about whoever they designate as alt-right. Right-wing. This is just Facebook. This will become policy soon. You don't believe me? You don't believe me. This is how it works. Because once they see that the public embraces this and millions of people are for it, that's when it becomes policy that affects our lives. What's happening right now is no different than what the Nazis did to the Jews. The Nazis demonized a group of people that were marginalized, slandered them, lied about them, convinced an entire generation of people that these people are evil and don't deserve to exist and should be exterminated via the final solution signed off on by someone that they all worshipped, Adolf Hitler, the Führer himself. What's happening right now in 2021 is no different. The left is demonizing anyone they claim to be right-wing, lying about them, slandering them. The radical authoritarian left right now, through big tech, is now on the lookout for whoever they claim to be extremist, that's right-wing, and they get to define what that means. It's no different. Right now, you have the radical left demonizing white people and anybody that is not a leftist. They slander them, they lie about them, and they convince millions of people in mainstream media that what they're saying is real and genuine. And historically speaking, when authoritarian regimes have done that to people in society, it always ends in genocide. Why, Drew, you say that's kind of extreme. Really? Yes. The Nazis did it, threw Jews in concentration camps. The communists did it, threw all those in political opposition into re-education camps as well. And you're starting to see that in 2021, calling for reprogramming and re-education of Trump-supporting parents. This is where we are. And Americans should be concerned about it. Dark times, man. It's a shame that people on the left, they praise this kind of stuff. They praise this kind of stuff. Just study history and you'll see that this never ends well. This never ends well. The polarization of their politics, this stuff never ends well. Well, let's skip over to our final story of the night. So, failed mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago is playing the victim card now. You guys remember we covered this story a couple weeks ago. There was some kind of celebration going on. I believe it was for Juneteenth or somewhere around there. And being the racist that she is, she excluded white people from interviewing her because she thinks that that's somehow achieving equality in Chicago. She thinks that's somehow, inclusivity. She thinks that's somehow equality. She thinks that's somehow fighting against racism by using more racism against white people, because in her mind, she thinks they deserve it. She thinks they deserve to be segregated. It's funny because all the liberals in Chicago, they're like, the hell did we do? Yeah, now you know how we feel. Idiots. Like I said, it's not about politics. It's about whatever's the authoritative think at the time. That's why, listen, to go to my point, it's not about politics. It's wrong think. Because according to the theology of the left, or the ideology of the left, they care about the oppressed, which are black people. They would consider homosexuals, trans. They would consider Latinos, like myself. They would consider Asians. They would consider anyone that's brown, anyone that's not white, right? Right? So then why do I get silenced? Why do I get deboosted? I'm brown. I'm Hispanic. What about me? Why do I get my voice silenced on YouTube? Why am I not allowed to actually thrive the way I should on YouTube? I thought they cared about Hispanics and Latinos. Right? No. It's not about that politics. It's about what they control. It's about what they want the ideology to be in the mind of anyone. They really don't care about skin color. It's about what you believe. Because you could be a black man right now in 2021. They care. Oh, dude, these people worship black people at this point. Okay? But if you have the wrong beliefs, ideology, you get silenced. So, with that point, Lori Lightfoot was asked about this because she received tons of criticism for being a racist, as she should, right? Excluding white people, segregating whites and black journalists. This is actual, real systemic racism. Like real in the workplace. Real systemic racism coming from a black politician. She received tons of backlash, tons of criticism. So she was recently on a television interview, and the news anchor turns around and asks her, what's your response to this? Do you believe that it's because of the color of your skin? This is what she literally had to say. And she plays the victim card. You don't believe me? Take a look.
Your reaction to criticism, Tribune editorial used the term irascible. How much of this do you think might have to do with the fact that you're a woman, and specifically a black woman?
About 99% of it.
Expand on that.
Well, I mean, look at my predecessors. Did people say that Rich Daley held tea sessions with people that he didn't disagree on? Rahm Emanuel was a polite guy who was a uniter? No. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard. I understand that. I've known that my whole life. And the Tribune or whoever can write what they want. What I'm doing is fighting for the residents of the city. I'm an advocate. I'm going to continue fighting. Obviously, we need to be...
Just not the white ones. Yeah. Not racist, right?
...focused on uniting people as much as we can. But I was elected and ran on disrupting the status quo. And when you disrupt the status quo, you are going to make people uncomfortable. You are going to have people criticize you. But I know where my North Star is. I know the things that we need to be working on. Can I do things differently and better? Of course. Life is a lifelong learning experience, I hope, for me and for others. But I absolutely understand that the critics, some of them who are out there, are criticizing me because they don't like to see a woman assume power and forge ahead on an agenda that is about disrupting the status quo. And look, I also say with the Tribune, consider the source. This criticism comes just about a month or so after I made a pointed decision at my 2-year anniversary that I was only going to give interviews for that 2-year anniversary to journalists of color. And it was like the sky was falling on the part of some of the folks that are embodiments of the status quo, including some of the media folks. But look around. Look.
Who are liberals, by the way, but they're just white. It's freaking ridiculous.
Look at that Tribune editorial board. Look at the editorial boards of most of the big media companies here in the city. They do not reflect our diversity. And many of the people on those boards don't even live in Chicago. So I'm sorry if I offend people by fighting for what people elected me to do, which is disrupt the machine, disrupt the status quo, and make city government more responsive to the residents.
So she's basically unapologetic for being a racist. That's what she's saying. Because she doesn't care if white people take an issue that they're being left out professionally in the world of journalism. She doesn't give a damn. That's what she's saying. And the hilarious part about this, guys, she's talking about white liberal journalists that were kind of really pissed off and irritated about this because you want to know why? They thought they were white allies. They thought because they supported black people and they supported Black Lives Matter and all of their conspiracy theories of being hunted by cops in Chicago that they got a pass. They're the good whites. They're the good ones, not the bad ones. Yeah. There's no neutrality with these people at all. There's no neutrality. There's no being on their side. This is why I tell all the white people all the time, stop it, you white Wookiees. These people don't really see you as an ally. You just confirm and submit to whatever it is that they are telling the world. This is how it works. We say white supremacy is the greatest threat right now in the United States of America to people of color. Well, where're your statistics? Can you show us? We don't have any. We just say that. And then all the white woke-tards on the left say, you know what? They're right. They're right. We are racists. So that's how they confirm that white people are racist, because you have all these white leftists turning around and agreeing with their assumption that white people are by default the authoritative ruling class in this country. So all my white buddies out there, men and women that are conservative or centrist or populist Americans, I'm telling y'all white people right now, you need to go fix this in your community. Just like I'm very aggressive against Hispanics, because there's a whole host of issues in the Hispanic community with brown on brown crime, people killing each other. I'm very aggressive on that, and I'm very vocal against that. You guys know that. And minorities as well, the black community. The cops are not the problem right now. It's the black on black crime. It's the brown on brown crime. It's the brown on black crime. It's the black on brown crime. I'm very vocal, but I'm telling all y'all white people out there, you need to go get your people in freaking check at this point. Because you got millions of white people out there, all these white woke-tards on the left, that actually say, We are white supremacists. We are racists. The critical race theory is right because it assumes that the hegemony, the authoritative class, which they've defined to be us, is the ruling class and we are the supremacists. You have millions of white people on the left right now that say, yes, that's true. Y'all need to go take care of your people. I can only do so much. White people need to start standing up and speaking up for themselves. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, Lori Lightfoot, it's so convenient. It's so convenient to just turn around and say, the reason why I'm so criticized is not because, number one, I'm a politician. It's not because, number two, I'm failing miserably and the murder rate in Chicago is skyrocketing under my enabling of the defund the police agenda. People of color are slaughtering each other in Chicago every single day. It's the worst. It's not because of that. It's not because, number three, I'm getting criticized because I'm actually instituting systemic racism by segregating white people from black people in the world of journalism and denying interviews from white people and only accepting interviews from black people. It's not because I'm actually instituting racist policies and practices in the real world. It's not because of that. It's not because of that. No. The reason why I'm so criticized is because I'm a black woman. Honestly, bro, like, I just got to be honest, man. These people, like, they're so arrogant and proud and self-centered that they listen, Lori Lightfoot thinks she's such a superstar that the reason why people take issue with her is because she's a black woman. Get over yourself. It's because you're a failed politician that is responsible for enabling the defund the police agenda, which has skyrocketed homicides under your administration and time in office. It's because you suck. It's not because of you're black. It's because you're a racist and you're practicing segregation in the world of professional journalism in Chicago. That's why you're criticized. These people are disconnected from reality. Imagine being a black female elected official and still claiming to be oppressed because of the color of your skin. What a joke. That's all I got to say. If you guys agree with that, drop a 1 in the comment section below. Alrighty, guys, we are going to do some super chats. So if you guys would like to support the show, if you guys got to head out, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share this video far and wide, toggle on the all selection when you hit the bell notification if you guys got to head out. But we're going to do some super chats. We're extremely deboosted on this channel, so we appreciate it. If you guys go check out the merch store, go buy a t-shirt, man. There's other stuff in there as well. The link is in the description below. Or guys, if you guys can do me a huge favor, and if you guys can also give a one-time donation through Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, the link is in the description below at drhlive.com. Also, you can leave a little note. So if you give a one-time donation, write a little note and I'll read it live like a super chat here on air right now. Or like I said, drop a super chat right now and we'll do some super chat Q&A at the end of the show beginning right now. So also, guys, if you want to shout out to the DH Alliance for as low as $5 a month, you could support me on the membership section of this channel. You guys can do that as well. That is how you guys can support me. So thank you guys very much. And I truly, truly appreciate it. Alrighty, let's do some super chats. Do you guys think I should go back on Tim Pool soon? If you guys think I should go back on Tim Pool after this show, go to Tim's show and just start saying, "Hey, get Drew Hernandez back on." Go leave a super chat or something. Just messing with you guys. Alrighty, let's do some super chats. Here we go. Supers. Pull this up. Okay, we have a super chat from Red Mage X111. It's 13, right? Red Mage 13, Roman numeral 13. Says, fire super chat. Oh, first super chat with you. Been watching since you were on Tincast. Oh, hey, there you go. I do feel that those who believe they are the good guys with the manipulative behavior will someday feel karma coming back around and hitting them in the face. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the support, Red Mage. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for dropping a super chat and supporting an independent content creator like me, especially being so deboosted on this channel. We struggle, man. It's hard. It's really hard. It sucks. But I totally agree with you. And this is what I explained at the beginning of the show. These people on the left may think that they're immune and that they're invincible, but the day will come where they will find out the hard way that it's not about having the right politics. It's about having the right think for that time. And that could change like that overnight. And to think that that can't happen, especially looking at history's past, that's the delusion. This is why it's so important and it's sacred to uphold our free rights of freedom of speech. I don't care if it's on the internet or off the internet. I don't care. I don't care. We have another super chat, oh, thank you. That was a $20 super chat from Red Mage. Thank you so much. We salute you. We have another super chat from Trana Shaman Pressure on Biden. What's going on, man? We salute you. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I truly, truly do appreciate the continued support from you and others. Says, kid, are you watching that loud guy again? Oh, me. Heck yeah, I'm watching that loud guy. Kid, I hope he's yelling about how creepy Biden is. Oh, dude. You know, I don't know if this is your son or your daughter. I'm just going to give some friendly advice. Stay away from people like Joe Biden. I don't know if you guys saw Joe Biden. I don't know where he was, but he was giving some kind of speech or press conference, something. And he was like staring at like some little girl saying, oh, look at her. Yeah, look at her right there. You know, she looks like she's an old grown woman. It's like, what? It's weird, dude. Weird, man. Like if you're a parent and if you're ever around Joe Biden, do not let this man touch your children, sniff them, give them a hug, because he just gives this weird excuse that he's old school and that's just how he was raised. It's like you were raised to be kind of like crossing boundaries, bro. It's kind of weird, man. You know, but I agree with you. I encourage your son or your daughter, stay away from creepy weirdos like Joe Biden. Just saying. Alrighty, we have another super chat or a donation via PayPal. I don't know if there's a message here. Yes. We have a $6 donation through PayPal. What's the name here? From Rachel Webster. Rachel, we salute you. Thank you. Rachel says, something occurred to me the other day. Why is Nazism considered right-wing or far-right when they were literally called the National Socialist Party? He was a socialist. Doesn't that automatically make him left-wing? The reason why traditionally they will identify Nazis with the right is because they did identify as fascists, corporate fascists, militaristic fascists. They had more nationalistic ideas and views, and because of their patriotism and nationalism in the context of 1945's Germany. So as history was written and unfolded, it seems like that was focused on a little bit more, and it was identified with right-wing, conservative type policies. When you take a look at what Adolf Hitler did with the economy, he reformed the economy with a lot of type of, people would argue, how would you say this? They would argue that they claimed to be the National Socialist, German's Worker Party, but people would argue that the type of things that Adolf Hitler did economically could be argued as some kind of capitalistic system because it revitalized the economy in under a decade, pretty much. So those are some of the characteristics why they will attribute them being right-wing authoritarian fascists. And the term fascism has always been identified with some kind of right-wing type of government or political system. So just to give you a simple answer, that is why. Obviously, we can go deeper with that, but that is why you see that stuff. So yes. And yes, he hated communism. Hitler hated the communists. That is what they loved about him. But Hitler's solution to that was nationalistic fascism. And so that's why that's always predominantly identified as right-wing. Historically speaking, I'm just giving you guys what history has always said. So yes. Yes, thank you guys very much. Do we have any more super chats as I'm ranting about history? Okay, we have another super chat from Betty Boop 2020. We salute you with a $10 super chat. It says, hope to meet you in our gulag one day. LOL. We salute you, Drew. I salute you. Hey, you want to know why I'll never end up in a gulag? Because these people are just going to kill me. I'm too dangerous to be left alive in that kind of authoritarian regime, you know? I'm too vocal. They have to shut someone like me up. There ain't no re-educating me. I'm just going to come out and say this right now. Just right now, okay? To all the lefties and all the woke tards and the Wookiees and the communists and the authoritarian psychopaths, don't waste your time trying to put me in a re-education camp. Don't waste your time trying to put me in a gulag. That ain't going to change my mind. I am centered on the truth. You're going to have to kill me to shut me up. Your Christianity will be designated as extremism very soon. Mark my words, because these people identify and they define what is violent extremism. They define it. So if you come out and say, I believe marriage is between a biological man and a biological woman, extremist. And then the persecution comes, which I'm fine for. I'm ready. It is what it is. Because I know where I'm going. And you should too, as a born-again Christian. Yeah, dude, I go straight to the firing squad, dude. Brian E. Yeah, Brian E. right there in the comments says, makes sense to me. No gulag for Drew. He goes right to firing squad. Yeah, dude. They're not going to leave someone like me alive. I'm too loud. I'm too like in your face. I'm someone that they see as a threat because they view me as a radical, outspoken person that is too dangerous to be kept alive. Why do you think they censor me? I don't call for political violence. I just call for people to be free in the mind. That's what they don't want. That's becoming extremism now. Telling people to think for themselves is now becoming political extremism. Telling people to believe in God and believe in Jesus and what he taught, to believe in the Bible, is going to become political extremism. I think that's how persecution is going to come now in the United States of America. In past, we've seen persecution come in the form of Christianity is evil, so we're going to kill the people. I think the way in America it's starting to unfold is I think Christian persecution is going to come in the form of it being designated as political extremism. I think that's what we're going to start to see. So be ready. Be ready. Be ready. Yeah, there's a lot of nuances when it comes to Hitler and yeah, dude. I'm just giving you guys some basic stuff to think about because there's different opinions. So, all right, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching the show. I will not be doing the show tomorrow night. I will be covering the Trump rally in Florida. So if there's anybody in Florida right now, I'm just going to be honest, come and see me. If you're going to go to the Trump rally in Florida this weekend on Saturday, I will be covering this on Real America's Voice on the network, conducting interviews. So if you would like to come and say hi, make sure to be there. I will see you guys. So I am actually flying to Florida tomorrow. We will not be doing the show. So thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for supporting the show. I will, Lord willing, see you guys on Monday. Thank you guys very much. Go check out the store. Go leave a donation. Thank you guys for supporting. Love you guys very much. Have an amazing weekend. Spend some time with family. Make sure to share this video far and wide. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification and toggle on the all selection. Love you guys very much. Until next time, America, stay free.